Hello again, my most amazing artist. Today, again, we are going to be looking at the artist Kehinde Wiley. And I know last week we worked a little bit on our skin tones. This week we're going to be looking at the background for our portrait. When we look at Kehinde Wiley's work, we see a lot of patterns. He uses a lot of organic patterns, like this one right here. You'll see a lot of wavy, viney shapes. Sometimes they repeat. He draws a lot of flowers and things like this. And whatever he draws repeats itself, usually 3 or more times. So any line, shapes, or colors that you want to use to create your design, you can use. It also might be beneficial for you to look up the word Zentangle. If you brought your Chromebooks to class, you'll want to do this. The other thing that you're going to want to do with that Chromebook, if you have it, is to take your picture and put it in the Jamboard. If you have trouble with this, or you don't have your Chromebook, I know that Coach D can help you with this, okay? So today we're going to try to make our backgrounds, and I have a few tools that we can use to help us with that. So over here beside our window, we have, along the windowsill, a lot of different texture rubbing plates and some stencils, and we could talk about how to use both of these things. In addition to the stencils and our texture rubbing plates, over here at our supply table, we have a few things that we can use. You'll notice that there is a dirty bin and a clean bin. And no matter what your tool is that you're using, you want to make sure when you return it that it goes into this dirty bin. You can grab your pencils from here. There are some sheets of paper in the container over here. And you'll notice the stack of papers right here, these dirty papers, are here in case you need to have an undersheet. If you're using Sharpie, you don't want to bleed through onto your desk. Or if you need to test out one of the texture rubbing plates, you're welcome to do that. Now, if you end up making one of these that you don't like, either return it over here or save it for me and we'll put it in the collage bin. So how are we going to go about making our textured background? You are welcome to use the stencils. You're welcome to use the texture plates. Please only use one at a time as we are sharing. You can see here I used a stencil, and notice it repeats at least 3 times. I would say if you're going to use a stencil or use a shape, maybe only pick 2 to 3 shapes max. Don't do more than that because it's not going to tie your work together very well. Okay, so here's just one example. And again, if I know that I'm going to use this tool right here, I want to take another sheet of paper and place it underneath. Okay, so on this paper, I can draw whatever I'd like. So when you're drawing, you really want to think about what kind of symbols or shapes would best describe your personality. What kind of colors are you going to use? Remember, again, only 2 to 3 colors would probably make this tie together a little bit smoother. I had a student last class who decided to draw just dollar bills and gold bricks, and that was his entire pattern, and it filled his whole paper. So really think about what kind of things you enjoy. So I'm going to draw a shape and repeat it over my entire page. Now you can use the stencils for this, or you can come up with your own design. It is completely up to you. Okay, and once I have completed my design, I want to come back with my texture rubbing plate underneath. Just be sure that if you're using a texture rubbing plate or you're using crayons at all, if you're going to use a Sharpie, you start with Sharpie first. If you draw on top of the crayons with the Sharpie, it will destroy this marker. And we will see what that looks like. So here I have my texture rubbing plate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this underneath my design. And notice that one side of this texture rubbing plate is going to be a little bit different than another, so you might even test it on another sheet of paper before you go to do this, just to make sure that it is the one that you want it to be. Because again, both sides are going to give you a different texture. So I'm going to go right up to the edge here. I'm going to hold my paper really still on top and kind of tilt my crayon on its side, like so, and just gently rub back and forth. Now, the closer your lines are together, the better this is going to work. And you can fill in the entire background. You may need to shift your texture rubbing plate. You might have to move it a couple times. Just be careful not to move it while you are coloring. I filled it in completely, but I think you understand what this looks like. So I hope you have fun creating your own texture background. We'll take a look at some examples here really quick, and I look forward to seeing these guys. Do your very best job on craftsmanship, color all the way up to the edge. Show me what you can do. Okay? So here are some student examples. A reminder that these are not necessarily finished. Like I can tell he's not done with this, but look at the way he overlapped those colors. He repeated that shape. It really stands out. Okay, I know she's going to work on her background. She repeated the shape, but she changed the pattern inside. So let's see what you can do.